I found a square-shaped structure approximately 15 feet tall, located next to a highway and a nearby bridge, adjacent to a hiking trail. The building features an opening on one side and a wider roof that is not connected, supported by wooden beams. In the center, there is a chimney-like shaft reinforced by metal rods embedded in the concrete. There are no signs or markings present. I attempted to search for information online, but only found references to birdhouses and wishing wells. I am perplexed by this structure. Any idea what this is made for? This is Chimney Swift Towers. Historic records indicate that before colonial times, the species now known to science as Chatura pelagica used hollow trees for roosting and nesting. Accounts in New England of the species nesting in chimneys date to the 1670s, and along the Atlantic coastal plain, the bird's exclusive use of chimneys for nest sites was established by 1800. Within hollow trees and chimneys, sheltered interior walls meet the bird's requirements for nesting and roosting. Chimney swifts are unable to perch. Instead, they cling to vertical surfaces with their feet and use the stiff shafts that protrude from the ends of their tail feathers as a brace. For nests, swifts collect branch-end twigs with their feet in flight, then use their quick-drying adhesive saliva to construct a narrow platform with the tiny sticks on an interior chimney or tree cavity. I heard several clunking sounds outside my house in Central Florida and discovered an object in my backyard. It is a heavy cone composed of small spheres, seemingly made of a rusty metallic material. The bottom is flat and relatively smooth. Interestingly, the entire structure has a consistent texture. It appears to be entirely metal, and the binder does not exhibit a plastic or waxy feel, which is puzzling. I have inquired locally and conducted online searches, but no one seems to have any information about it. Any ideas? That's orgonite, a pseudoscience energy thing. Polyester resin is an organic compound because its molecular structure contains carbon. So carbon is the identifier of what is considered organic in this equation. Some but not all crystals contain carbon, so they too are organic. The organic compounds work to attract organy, life force energy, prana, chai, etc. The inorganic is the metal and some crystals. But metal is very important as it is the metal which most strongly activates the cleansing matrix by both attracting and repelling energy. The organic materials simply attract the energy, so without the metals you have an ineffective and inert piece of resin art. We bought a new house, and in the kitchen there is an oval metal object housed in a plastic holder mounted to the wall next to the sink. The metal component slides in and out effortlessly. I conducted a reverse image search, consulted with acquaintances, and searched online retailers using keywords such as oval, metal, kitchen, and sink. But I was unable to find anything similar. Any ideas what this thing is? It's steel soap bar. You can soap up hands and rub them along the facet if it's a steel one. The metal acts as a catalyst and breaks down the aromatics in onions or garlic and reduces the smell. The steel odor is not the steel itself, but the smell of our own skin oils catalyzed into another aromatic. Clean metal would have no smell. I found an unusual old bell in the Hudson Valley, measuring approximately 11 inches in height and 8 to 9 inches at the lip. It appears to be made of brass and features the initials VOC on two sides, along with nautical stars on the other two sides. Any ideas what this thing is? It's called Verenigde Oost-Indische Compagnie, which translated to the United East Indian Company. It was a large Dutch trading company importing spices and such, making the Dutch have their golden century. It's a bell from a ship or outpost. This company was the most valuable one in the history of humankind, with Amazon or Apple just worth fractions of it. I found it in eastern Washington while operating an excavator and relocating dirt piles with my father. It is composed of metal, yet it is not magnetic. It's fairly heavy for its size, resembling a rock, has a rough surface that remained even after my attempts to clean it. Additionally, there is a stinger at one end. Any ideas what this thing is? This is vintage brass bronze green patina, articulated cricket decorative figurine. I found a peculiar cabinet, approximately 3.5 feet in height, at a secondhand furniture store. My initial assumption is that it may be related to shoes. However, my research on shoe shining items did not yield any similar designs. Any idea what this is made for? This piece of furniture is what's known as the secretary. Usually it's about 6 feet tall. However, the base may be missing, or this piece may end up putting on a table. The fold-out door is used as a desk, and all the slots are used for mail or other pieces of paper. There are 100 different designs, but they all have one thing in common, and that is the fold-down desk. I found an item in a box containing old kitchen supplies which we believe dates back to the 1990s. The item is relatively heavy, and the larger piece features the text HMO in the corner. It can be easily squeezed, similar to a hand weight. Additionally, there were several smaller pieces included in the box that appear to resemble one another, leading us to wonder if they are part of a set. Any ideas? It's Nutcracker. You crack the walnuts or pecans with the V-shaped part and use the picks to get the nuts out of the shell. This item originates from the estate of an antique dealer. It is a bottomless glass bowl measuring 4.5 inches by 6 inches, featuring a 5-inch tube that contains a spring attached to a fibrous pad inside the bowl. There is a small hole on the side of the tube. I believe it may be a scientific instrument, but I would appreciate a more precise identification of its name and purpose. Any ideas? This is the upper half of vacuum coffee maker. Coffee grounds would go in the bowl, it would be upside down, with a plastic top. The stem goes into a bowl of water that sits on the stove. Water boils, pushes up the spring, and fills the upper chamber. When the lower vessel cools, it creates a vacuum that pulls the coffee water through the cotton filter and down into the lower bowl to be served. Grounds remain above. Does anyone know what this was used for? I believe it may have originally had a lid. While I am uncertain of its exact age, it is likely over 50 years old. I know that my great-grandmother used it, but I am unsure how long it has been in the family. My grandmother speculates that my great-grandmother might have used it to hold cold water beneath a dish of butter, although she is not entirely certain. Any ideas? It is a butter dish designed with a lid, featuring holes for air exchange over the cool water, which helps keep the butter fresh. This design also ensures that the butter remains soft for easy spreading.